In the history of professional tennis, every generation carries its torchbearers. Those players who rise up, snatch slams, inspire millions, and define an era. The 80s kids gave us Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. Titans, immortals, the big three. They carved up the sport like it was a private buffet, taking 66 of the 80 men's Grand Slam titles between 2003 and 2022. But sandwiched between these icons and the brash new blood of the 2000s is one of the strangest anomalies in the sport's modern history, the 1990s born generation. Let's say it flat out, this generation has been a massive letdown. Despite being raised on better coaching, with greater access to technology, sports science, and globalized tour that offered more opportunities than ever, the men born in the 1990s flamed out. And not just a few. As a group, they failed to truly take over the sport. They were supposed to be the successors to Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. Instead, they were the placeholder names on slam draws, always falling just short. In this video, we're diving into the why. Why did the 90s generation produce so many underachievers? Why did they never seize the moment when the big three finally started to falter? And how did the 2000s born generation already eclipse them? So the first question we have to ask is, who are the 90s kids? So let's define our generation. For the purpose of this discussion, we're talking about male ATP players born between 1990 and 1999. So some of the biggest names from this group include players like Dominic Thiem, Daniil Medvedev, Alexander Zverev, Stefanos Tsitsipas, Nick Kyrgios, Taylor Fritz, Casper Ruud, Andrei Rublev, and so on and so forth. You can always expand the list, but that only strengthens the argument. Because here's the painful truth. Out of all of them, only 2 players born in the 1990s have won a Grand Slam. Dominic Thiem and Daniil Medvedev. And they have exactly 1 each. That's it. That's the haul. Compare that to the 80s, Federer with 20, Nadal with 22, Djokovic 24. There's also Marin Cilic with 1, Stan Wawrinka with 3, Andy Murray with 3, and even Del Potro with 1. Or even to the 2000s borns, Alcaraz had 3 slams by the age of 21. Let that sink in. Carlos Alcaraz, born in 2003, has more slams than every 90s born player combined. So how did this happen? Well, part of the blame lies in the unfortunate timing. The 90s generation came of age during a period of near total domination by the big three. By the time guys like Thiem, Zverev, and Tsitsipas were entering their prime years, Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic were still not only active, but elite, borderline unstoppable. In 2017, Federer and Nadal split all 4 slams. In 2018, it was Federer, Nadal, Djokovic, Djokovic. In 2019, Djokovic, Nadal, Nadal, Djokovic. The door didn't just close on the 90s kids. It was slammed shut, deadbolted, and reinforced with concrete. But timing doesn't explain everything. After all, every generation has to face tough competition. The 80s born legends had to take out the 70s stars like Agassi and Sampras. The 2000s borns, they went straight at the big three with fire in their eyes. So what went wrong with the 90s? Well, more than anything, the 90s generation suffered from a belief problem. They didn't believe that they could beat the big three when it mattered. You saw it time and time again. Zverev would get close, then crumble. Tsitsipas had Djokovic 2 sets to love up in the 2021 French Open final and completely folded. Thiem reached multiple slam finals but lost most of them to Djokovic or Nadal. The only time they won was when the big three were either injured or not at their best. Thiem's 2020 US Open title came in a slam with no Nadal, no Federer, and a Djokovic default for hitting a line judge. Medvedev's 2021 US Open win was incredible, but Djokovic was going for the calendar slam and cracked under pressure. It's like the 90s kids needed the big three to not show up, to have a chance. They respected them so much, they were defeated before the match even started. When Novak Djokovic was finally forced to slow down due to injuries, vaccination bans, and aging legs, when Nadal started missing entire seasons and Federer left the tour for good, the window finally opened. 2023 should have been the 90s renaissance. But what happened instead? Well, I think we all know. Carlos Alcaraz and Jannik Sinner took that window. They slammed it shut and threw away the key. Alcaraz won the 2023 Wimbledon title by beating Djokovic in the final. Sinner has risen to world number 1, winning the Australian Open, just winning Wimbledon. Meanwhile, Thiem has already retired from tennis with chronic wrist injuries and burnout. Medvedev has since fallen out of the top 10, struggles with consistency and getting routinely beaten by Alcaraz, Sinner, and even other players that he just shouldn't be losing to. Zverev remains controversial. He lost early at Wimbledon and the French Open this year. Fritz is finally in his career renaissance, but has only made one slam final and is 0-5 versus Alcaraz. Ruud fell out of the top 10. Fritz has had a career renaissance recently, but can't get over the Alcaraz-Sinner hurdle. Ruud fell out of the top 10 and is losing to players outside of the top 50. The 90s kids missed their moment, and they're not getting it back. While the 90s born stars flinched at the mountain of Djokovic and Nadal, the 2000s born players saw it as a challenge. Carlos Alcaraz walks on the court like he's playing with the legends, not beneath them. He beat Djokovic in a Grand Slam final. He plays with freedom, audacity, and belief. Sinner, the most professional, cold-blooded player since Novak himself. They didn't wait their turn. They took it. And that might be the biggest difference between these generations. The 90s kids were raised revering Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic as tennis gods. The 2000s kids grew up watching them and planned how to beat them. But let's be clear, the 90s generation isn't untalented. Zverev, Tsitsipas, Kyrgios, Fritz, they can play. Medvedev and Thiem have incredible peaks. But when you stack them up against the surrounding generations, they look like the worst performing group in modern ATP history. No sustained slam dominance, no consistent world number 1 reigns, no era-defining rivalries. They are the generation of almosts. Tsitsipas, 2 slam finals, 0 wins. Zverev, 3 slam finals, 0 wins. Rublev, 0 slam finals. Kyrgios, 1 slam final, 0 wins. Fritz, 1 slam final, 0 wins. And the worst part, they might already be past their prime. Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying this deep dive into the tragic tale of tennis's forgotten generation, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification so you don't miss the next Hot Take Tennis breakdown. And drop a comment below. Do you think the 90s generation was unlucky or just mentally weak? And who, if anyone, can still redeem them? We read every comment, and if you have a spicy take, we might just feature it in the next video. In sports, some generations inspire awe. Some push boundaries. Others simply hold the line, but the 90s tennis generation, they let history pass them by. They waited for their turn like it was owed to them. But in tennis, you don't wait, you take. They had every advantage: nutrition, recovery, analytics, technology, more prize money than ever. But what they lacked was the thing that matters most: belief. Now, as the 2000s born stars race ahead and the big 3 bow out, the 90s kids are left in the middle, forgotten, failed, and fading. It wasn't just a weak era. It was the worst generation of tennis. See you next time.